Y'all, I just came across this. I can't believe it. So, y'all listen.
Their own laws on the books when it comes to sex trafficking. But if the feds are looking into this, into homes associated with such a high profile person, you just have to kind of make the leap that this is going to be a story for a very long time. What is so particular about the federal aspect of this?
Again, it's very likely that it is federal because they believe there was some element of crossing state lines with some of the conduct. And again, without seeing the warrant, if we don't see the warrant, we can't see the affidavit. We don't know exactly what the government is alleging occurred here. We're taking a guess based on some civil lawsuit information that this is probably what this is about. It's clearly a criminal investigation at this point because you see this enforcement individuals making entry and conducting this warrant, this search warrant at a minimum. We don't know if it's also an arrest warrant. And so it has to be that there's some interstate commerce or some crossing of state lines that was affected to make this a federal case. And the reality is that even though a person may have a peaceful reputation, I know nothing about Mr. Combs' reputation. Law enforcement needs to go in as if the situation could turn violent at any time, because these types of allegations are incredibly serious. Somebody who is...
Y'all, this is P. Diddy's house. They are currently in the process, and they have been there for 11 hours now. They're still there. They're in the process of searching P. Diddy's house, both of his homes, the one in Los Angeles and one in Miami. They're about to bring charges on him for sex trafficking and drugs. God knows what else.
Ultimately arrested for trafficking could very well, depending on the charges, go to the rest of their lives. And that's a desperate corner for individuals to be in, and even people who might otherwise not have had a history of any sort of violent reaction. Law enforcement has to be prepared for the unexpected. And so that's what you're seeing here.
You know, Nicole, I was using some of the history and context of what Diddy has gone through over the last 3 months to kind of bring into this story a little bit. And, you know, we don't want to jump to conclusions or draw connections that aren't there. But he has suffered a lot of legal drama, so to speak, over the last 3 months, almost like weekly, allegations being made, lawsuits being filed against him for allegations, Nicole, that go back to the early to late 90s. And we mentioned that a lot of states now have some of these laws on the books where they open a window of time, say a year, and victims can come forward no matter the statute of limitations. Do you think we could possibly be seeing that be taken advantage of, any laws like that in a case like this?
Well, it depends on if the government believes that there was some kind of a conspiracy to continue with human trafficking, or essentially to bring people into compelled prostitution. If they believe that there is an ongoing conspiracy, for example, among people to do this, and there's evidence that either of these Combs residents of that thing that they're accusing them of over the long term, it can tap back in time that way. So in other words, if,
hi Connie, I can't chat right now.
still ongoing this last year, and I don't know what they're alleging because I haven't seen any documentation of that. But they could say, well, it's the same conspiracy that's been ongoing for 20 plus years. And so, that would mean that potentially, although there would definitely
I can't believe this is happening to P. Diddy.
They could say, well, this is the same conspiracy. It was going on as of yesterday. And for that reason, we believe that...
You think he would have enough money that he wouldn't have to get involved in in sex trafficking or anything else,
were at the time. So those could be 20 years old. These cases are incredibly...
I'll try to answer you as you chat, Connie.
Enormously stressful. If you can imagine also, he's presumed innocent. It is presumed that he's done absolutely nothing wrong, which is really a hard thing for us to imagine watching what we're watching right now on camera. And for a defendant accused in a case of this nature, especially with so much time
Hi, Gladys.
potentially being at issue for witnesses to make claims, it's almost like having to prove a negative that it didn't happen, even though that's not what our Constitution or criminal court rules require.
So, of course, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you are saying the very fact that these homes affiliated with Diddy are being rated in this fashion, it would be hard to, down the line, you would be surprised, to, so to speak.
Yeah, happy birthday, Connie, even though this is not your birthday live. Your birthday live is at 7 p.m.
How likely is it that a family member, an employee, a staffer on the grounds, or so to speak, that they are involved primarily, and that the homes just so happen to be owned by Sean Diddy Combs? Is that unlikely or likely in your history?
Just the fact that they're his residences.
Y'all, this is not her birthday live.
Concern.
It's at 7 o'clock.
Anyway, that evidence of a serious federal crime is located in Combs's home, which leads one to believe that
I changed it to 7
potentially they're
Central Time.
His home is involved because they got a judge to sign off on a warrant.
To be too late for Connie.
Sure.
So he's got to battle that.
I'm going to step away right now from these live pictures. Nicole, I want to get your thoughts on this piece of video from how this all kicked off here. Okay, so you see there, this is in the Holby Hills neighborhood there in Los Angeles. Investigators detained someone, Nicole, and you see this right here. This is video, this is not live, this was from earlier. And I guess
as you can see, this is not a live virtual birthday party live. This is all about P. Diddy. I just happened to come across it.
Because you see there, they're detaining people.
And it's live. It's happening right now.
No doubt they're going to be questioned, possibly booked. Not sure if they're going to be charged. We just don't know any of that. But presumably one has to happen for the other, right?
Believe it or not, it doesn't. They can actually they can execute a search warrant without charges being filed based on essentially a criminal complaint. So, no indictment in that instance. And sometimes they indict a case and they don't have everybody that they think is responsible listed in that indictment, or the grand jury hasn't indicted everybody who they think is a part of the case. And so, just because you're seeing people on TV right now who are, being arrested, searched, handcuffed, detained, set aside, doesn't mean that they're criminal defendants or criminal suspects. It could very well be that those are witnesses that were watching them secure.
Okay.
So there's no way to know yet, who is being charged, if there has been a charge. And sometimes indictments have been issued but are sealed and have to be unsealed by a federal judge so that we know.
I told you, Gladys, this is not Connie's live.
Out live to the pictures we have there. Both
Connie's birthday party live is at 7 p.m.
Nicole DeBoard with us here on the
This
phone.
is an unexpected live that I just all of a sudden wanted to get on here to show this about P. Diddy.
Legal team
listening.
Working overtime for the last 3-4 months in unrelated cases. Now I would imagine that their year has gotten so much more difficult. What lies ahead for them? How much harder is their job going to be, depending on whatever the charges are, whoever the defendants may be going forward?
They're just going to have a massive amount.
This is just an unexpected live, and I wanted to go live because of P. Diddy.
So the government first is
what they're doing to him right now.
Get all of this information, and
because I don't know if any of it's true or not. I just know what they're allegedly claiming he's done.
The legal team had access to, if they wanted to go to Mr. Combs and say, I would like to see what you have on this computer. He could go to his computer and he could get it. Well, you can bet that all of those items are going to be removed from these residences. And so now they're not accessible to the legal team until the government turns it over and the agents turn it over for review and for discovery. And that can take a while. So when the government takes possession of all the materials that you're using to try to understand allegations like this, the burden is just incredible. So it's going to take a ton of time for these lawyers and
Hi, Sharon.
to sift through this information.
This is an unexpected
what they're even missing.
live.
What did the government take that we need access to make sure that Mr. Combs gets
it's
due
insane.
process, if that's in fact what happens, that he's charged at all
Hi, Shatika.
in these allegations.
Yeah, and Nicole, like I said, we can't.
But
thank you
this is
enough.
happening
But these are
live
really
right
incredible
now at
scenes,
his home.
that we are seeing. Not just one, but
He's got two homes, one in
federal
Miami, one
raids
in
happening
Los
in real
Angeles.
time as we speak. So I think that is, somewhat significant in the nature of this.
And they've
story
raided both
and
homes.
The possible high-profile would-be defendant, and you see there in Los Angeles. Look at all of those investigators going up the driveway there in the mansion, and have to wait and see. But hopefully, we'll get some type of statement from Sean Combs, from his legal team, from his representatives there. But you can see there, Nicole, kind of a large mass of these investigators walking into the drive and going into the home right there as well. Depending, and we were talking
I just wish I could get it to come in better, focus it better.
So presume that these raids, these searches, I mean, they're going to go on for hours. You can make that.
They're going to go for possibly days.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, as big as that home
is,
it'll take them days to go through
every drawer. I mean, they're looking for things most likely like thumb drives, computer disks, documents, photographs, anywhere that they can argue, anyway, as law enforcement, that items of that nature could be concealed. They have to look. And in a house like this, I would imagine there are many drawers, many cabinets, many closets, and potentially many electronic devices. They're going to be looking for phones. They're going to be looking for tablets. They're going to be looking for security footage. They're going to be looking for anything that might record data or receive an email or send a text. So there is just a ton of work ahead for these investigators.
All right, Nicole DeBoard, we can't thank you enough. And maybe we'll check in a little bit later or tomorrow, depending on how this story unfolds here. Nicole DeBoard, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, in the meantime here, we're going to stay with this story. We're also going to pivot to another major breaking news story that's been unfolding there in the Los Angeles area over the course of the last few days. I want to put this shot up here. See there, you can see the Dodgers, the emblem, the logo on the back of those two chairs. We're about to get a statement in about 5 minutes time, at least that's when it's been scheduled, from the MLB star and Dodgers star, new Dodgers star, Shohei Ohtani, over these allegations in this betting scandal that has really rocked the sports world and rocked the MLB over the course of the last 3 or 4 days. So we're going to be bringing in my colleague here, Andy Mack. You're going to be hearing from Ohtani here at this scheduled press conference. We'll
Boy, they're digging the dirt out on everybody, aren't they?
And then we'll be kind of diving into the particulars of the case itself. How did this all get started? We'll have that and more in 2 minutes.
I think they've detained everybody there. But yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I just accidentally come across it and I said live, and this is P. Diddy's home being raided. So I got on there and started listening, and they first went to his house to raid it 11 hours ago. But this is all live as it's happening now. But I thought to myself, how much money as P. Diddy has made, why would he get into sex trafficking and drugs and other stuff? That's crazy. I already know they're all shady. Well, everybody that's in this chat right now, you need to come back at 7 for Connie's birthday party. If I can talk. I've been in the yard today, but I did wear a mask. But yeah, Connie's virtual birthday party is still going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time tonight, which isn't that long off, about a little over an hour from now. I hate it when they have commercial breaks. Really?
Welcome back here to Live Now from Sunday Blue Track. Thanks for being with us on a busy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's get more into these top stories. Of course, we still have our eye on what's happening there. Holmby Hills mansion of Sean Diddy Combs. This is a live picture right there. You can see many of his luxury vehicles parked in the driveway as some of these federal investigators raid and pour over these homes, not only in Los Angeles, but also in Miami. And what we are told is an ongoing federal sex trafficking investigation.
I made some
That's about all we
7-layer
know at this
dip.
hour. It's a story we have
I
to
didn't
stay
make
on
a
top of
cake.
as well. We're staying in Los Angeles for our next story as well. Take a look at this shot that we have right here. We are about to hear from LA Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani.
But I bet I can
He's set
come
to
up
make
with
his
one.
first public comments today since his former interpreter Ippei Mitsuhara was fired following allegations of illegal gambling and theft from the LA Dodgers star. So in the newsroom here, I have my colleague Andy Mack. It does look like we have Shohei Ohtani sitting down. Let's listen.
Thanks everybody for coming. I want to point out Shohei's interpreter is Will Willerton. We'd ask you not film this right now on your cell phone if that's possible. And after Shohei is done, we will not take questions. Thank you.
まず皆さん、来ていただいてありがとうございます。僕も話したかったので、嬉しく思ってますし、チームの関係者の皆さん、僕自身もそうですけど、ファンの皆さんもここ1週間くらいですかね、厳しい、1週間だと思うんですけども、メディアの皆さんも含めて、我慢と、ご理解をしていただいたのはすごくありがたいなと、思っています。まず、僕自身も信頼していた方の、過ちというのを、悲しくというか、ショックですし、今はそういうふうに、感じています。
Well, first of all, thank you very much for coming. I wanted to be here today to be able to talk. I'm sure it was very tough. It's been a tough week for fans and team officials, and I'm very grateful that the media has been patient in this process. Just on a personal note, I'm very sad and shocked that someone who I'm trusted has done this.
現在進行中の調査もありますので、今日話せることにまず限りがあるというのをご理解いただきたいなということと、また今日ここに、詳細をまとめた分かりやすく皆さんにお伝えするためにまとめた、メモがありますので、そちらの方に従って、何があったか、説明させていただきたいなと思います。
So obviously today there's things that I'm limited in being able to talk about. I hope you understand. I do have a document in front of me.
Well, I made a 7-layer dip for a video, but I've got a cake, a little bitty cake too. I don't think I've got a candle though.
僕自身は、何かにかけたりとか、誰かに代わって、そのスポーツイベントにかけたりとか、それをまた頼んだり、っていうことはないですし、僕の口座からブックメーカーに対して、誰かに送金を依頼したことももちろん全く、ありません。
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. And I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports.
See, they even got allegations against some members of the Dodgers.
彼が、そういうことをしていたっていうのも全く知りませんでした。
Up until a couple days ago, I didn't know that this was happening.
結論から言うと、彼が僕の口座からお金を、盗んで、なおかつ、みんな僕の周りもそうですね、みんなに、嘘をついていたっていうのが、結論から言うとそういうことになります。
Just to kind of just go over the result, in conclusion, Ippei has been stealing money from my account and has told lies.
まず初めに言うと先週末、韓国ですね、僕の代理人に対してメディアの方から私が、僕のにですね、違法のブックメーカーから、僕が、関与しているのではないかというスポーツ賭博について、関与しているのではないかという打診が連絡がありました。
Last weekend in Korea, media has reached out to a representative in my camp inquiring about my potential involvement.
I was reading the chat
betting.
で一平さんは僕にこういった取材の依頼があるということをまず
a little earlier that's been scrolling up here. And when they was still talking about P. Diddy, some of the comments said, well, they're going after Trump next. I said, they've been going after him. But so far, they've not been able to do anything with him. All your favorite things.
To the media and to my representatives that I, on behalf of a friend, paid off debt.
でその翌日にさらに尋問で一平さんは、僕たちの代理人に対して、借金は自分のものつまり一平さん自身が作ったものだということを、説明しました。
Upon further questioning, it was revealed that it was actually, in fact, Ipe who was in debt.
でそれを僕が、肩代わりしたという話を、その時に代理人に話したそうです。
And told my representatives that I was paying off those debt.
そしてこれらは全く、全てが嘘だったということです。
And all of this has been a complete lie.
一平さんは取材依頼のことも僕にはもちろん、その時伝えていなかったですし、
I just fell into a lie that had so many allegations going on against people. It's
彼
unreal.
と話してコミュニケーションを取っていたっていうことを、嘘をついてました。
So Ipe obviously lied about, basically didn't tell me about the media inquiry.
その代表に対して、僕もそうですし代表、チームもそうですね。チームも、代理の人たちに対しても、つまり僕とコミュニケーションを取っていたっていうふうに嘘をついてました。
So Ipe has been telling everybody around that Ipe has been communicating with Shohei on all of this account to my representative, to the team, and that hasn't been true.
そして僕がこのギャンブルを初めて知ったのは、韓国での第一戦が終わった後に行われたチームミーティング、の時、試合の後のチームミーティングの時です。
There's April and T. Sharon. No, we're not early, T. Sharon. This is not Connie's birthday party.
During the
That I all of a sudden did because of P. Diddy.
そのミーティング英語で話していたので、僕に通訳もちろんその時ついていなくて。
Shouldn't have went live on this. Should have just recorded it because everybody's thinking that this is Connie's birthday party, and it's not. Connie's virtual birthday party is at 7 p.m. Central Time. Another hour away.
They're
accusing this Dodger member of some shady things.
Just prior to the meeting, I was told by Ipe, hey, let's talk one-to-one in the hotel after the meeting. So I waited until then.
で僕は一平さんがその時にギャンブルミーティングの時にギャンブルの依存症だっていうのは僕はもちろん知らなかったですし、彼が借金をしていることもそのミーティングの時はもちろん知りませんでした。
So up until that team meeting, I didn't know that Ipe had a gambling addiction and was in debt.
で僕は彼の借金返済にももちろんその時も同意してませんし、物件会に対して彼に送金をしてくれって頼んだことももちろん許可したことももちろんないです。
And obviously at that point, I never agreed to pay off the debt or, make payments to the bookmaker.
でその後試合後ホテルに戻って一平さんと初めてそこで話をして、彼に巨額の借金があることをその時知りました。
And finally, when we went back to the hotel and talked one-to-one, that was when when I found out massive debt.
April's on a lunch break.
僕の口座に勝手にアクセスして。
Well, we still expect you to back at 7 p.m., April.
And it was revealed to me during that meeting that he admitted that he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker.
で僕はやっぱりおかしい これおかしいなと思って、代理人と話したいということで代理人たちを呼んでそこで話し合いました。
And at that moment, obviously, it was an
Okay,
absurd
April.
thing that was happening, and I've contacted my representative.
I'm just waiting for him to get back to
でも
P.
話し合って
Diddy.
これを聞いて僕の代理人もやっぱり彼に嘘をつかれて
I
いた
didn't
ということを
realize they were going to have these
初めて知って
accusations
す
against
ぐにド
the
ジャースの皆さんと、
Dodger
弁護士の
player.
人たちにその時に連絡しました。
So when I was finally able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out that Ipe has been lying the whole time, and that's when I started contacting the Dodgers and my lawyers.
でまあそのドジャースの皆さんも、
Okay,
僕たちも
April.
その彼らも初めてまた自分たちも嘘をつかれていたということをその時に知りました。
And the Dodgers and the lawyers at that moment found out also as well that they have been lied to.
そして僕が弁護士の人たちは、これは窃盗と詐欺のことなのでこれを警察の当局に引き渡すという報告を、その時にしました。
And my lawyers recommended that, since this is theft and fraud, that we have the proper authorities handle this matter.
まあこれがそこまでの流れなので僕はもちろんスポーツ賭博にはもちろん関与していないですしブックメーカーにさっきも言いましたけど送金をしていたという事実は全く、ありません。
So, in conclusion, I do want to make it clear that I never betted on sports or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker.
まあ正直ショックというまあ言葉がまあ正しいとは思わないですし、まあそれ以上のこううまく言葉では表せないような、感覚でこの1週間ぐらいはずっと過ごしてきたので今はそれをうまく言葉にするのは、難しいなと思っています。
To summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm just beyond shocked. It's really hard to verbalize how I am feeling at this point.
まあただもうシーズンも本格的にスタートするので、ここからは弁護士の、方々にもお任せしますし僕自身も、警察当局の、協力に全面的に協力したいなと思っています。
And the season's going to start, so I'm going to obviously let my lawyers handle matters from here on out, and I am completely assisting in all investigations that are taking place right now.
なのでまあ気持ちを切り替えるのは難しいですけどもシーズンに向けて、またスタートしたいですし、今日まずお話できてよかったなとも思っているので、まあ今日は質疑応答は、これが今お話できるすべてなので質疑応答はしませんが
Linda, this is nothing
これ
new
か
to
ら、さらに進んでいくと思います。
I'm looking forward to focusing on the season. I'm glad that we
Yeah,
have
it
this
shows that money and
opportunity.
power is evil.
And I'm sure there'll be continuing investigations moving forward.
以上です。ありが
That's
とうござ
it.
いました。
Thank you very much.
Yep, Connie, that's exactly right.
All right, there you just heard from LA Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani with his now new translator and interpreter there as he defended himself completely against these allegations that both he and his former friend and interpreter were gambling on sports. He said, "I never bet, and someone on my behalf never bet for him." He says he was unaware that his former interpreter and translator, Ipe Mitsuhara, had a gambling addiction and was deep in debt. He says all of this is a complete lie. Joining me right now in the newsroom, my friend and colleague, Andy Mack. Andy, we're going to break this down and we're going to talk about, how we got here, why Shohei Ohtani had to feel the need to come out and explain himself there, remaining very defiant, saying he was unaware of this, saying this is all a fabrication and lie against him, saying he never gambled or bet on sports. Your reaction first to what we just heard.
Yeah, there are a lot of
I bet there's a lot of people that gamble on sports.
About Shohei Ohtani, the $700 million.
There's a lot of gambling going on ball games, hockey games, baseball games, you name it.
You pointed out, he said, I have never bet on baseball, and that is kind of overshadowed.
But I'm not saying he did.
About this betting scandal, as his interpreter Ipe Mitsuhara was fired. Obviously, there's questions about whether he potentially bet through him or what happened there. But he coming out very defiantly saying, I have never bet on baseball, saying very sad and very shocked. It's something that he can trust. And of course, he came over from Japan, and this relationship with the interpreter goes back a decade since they were playing in Japan. Of course, he joined the Angels in 2018, won the Rookie of the Year, won multiple MVPs. So this relationship, and like you heard, he said it was thought he was someone he could trust. And that is very, very interesting because they spend so much time together there, not only communicating between the translator and the media, but between teammates, between coaches, between all of these things. And the fact that Shohei Ohtani says he had no idea that this was going on behind the scenes. He learned of this during that potential meeting in Korea. And of course, last week, the Dodgers and the Padres, they kicked off the baseball season. Earnings here in the United States, but over there, obviously an international game as well. Of course, in South Korea, those games being played, and he learned about it for the first time. So we're still trying to piece together maybe what happened. Ipe, as Ohtani says it, lying, told him lies after lies about what was going on, told him lies to the team, told the lies to the Dodgers, told lies to Ohtani. So there is so much to get into and kind of what is going on there. And there's a lot of things to unpack and a lot of questions that still are left unanswered because, as you also saw there, he did not take any questions from the media. And you imagine there's a lot of stuff swirling around the Dodgers. They are a major market team. They're accustomed to all this different press and media. But this, no answering, no questions. They want to focus on the baseball season, which begins in earnest for the rest of the teams this week.
Right.
We'll see if that happens. But it's a lot to unpack there. And this whole story has been wild since it broke last week.
Yeah, you're right. You know, there's somewhat, leaves a stench this week.
I want him to get back to P. Diddy.
Of the baseball season, opening day later this week. Now, the MLB and the Dodgers organization kind of ensconced in this scandal. Let's go over some of the facts, too, before we just heard from Ohtani. So Mitsuhara was by the Dodgers last week when the team, like you mentioned, opened the season there between the Padres in Seoul, South Korea. He was also now is at the center of an investigation opened by the MLB, and the IRS has confirmed Mitsuhara and Matthew Bowyer, the alleged illegal bookmaker in Orange County, California, are under criminal investigation.
That's terrible. I wonder if he was really gambling or he's just been accused of it and charged.
There's a sense of just despondency and betrayal that someone so close to him is capable of this, is capable of
You're so right, Connie.
And he wanted to absolve himself from all.
I told my kids, I said, a lot of times, a lot of money brings a lot of problems.
Whatever Ipe Mitsuhara said he did and said I did, that's not true. That's a lie.
Yeah, and like you said there, of course, there's a lot of lies to unpack there. And of course, he's a very unemotional person, but of course, we're following it also very, very.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not going to stay on here much longer. I thought they'd get back to P. Diddy.
Did not know that he had a
but yeah, I'm going to get off of here in just a few minutes because I want to, be ready to go on live at 7.
Hours, overnight hours. You looked in the dugout, and there are shots of Ohtani joking with Ipe, even as recently as Tuesday into Wednesday. So the fact that he did not know about it, is that what he says? Is really just kind of hard to wrap your mind around because they spend so much time with them and covering the Major League Baseball, covering different international born players. Translators have been known to play catch with Ohtani.
I've been on here for a half hour. I think I'm going to get off because I just wanted to see what was going on with P. Diddy with them raiding their home. I didn't realize that the Dodger member had allegations against him as well.
From Japan when he did move there. So there's a lot in terms of that. But we also want to.
So guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and we'll see y'all at 7 p.m. Okay?
I think when everyone talks about betting in baseball, they think notably of Pete Rose. I think a lot of baseball purists are very concerned about this because obviously Pete Rose, the all-time.
See y'all at 7 p.m. for Connie's virtual birthday party.
Don't hope this next generation star, this star of the new age.
Okay, we'll see y'all later. Take care.
Do it all seemingly on the field. This baby.